everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Holly, and today I'm sharing 4 air fryer sweet treat recipes. They're easy and pretty quick to make, but for this you will need, for the first one, some pie crust and also any type of pie filling, and I'm using the apple. And I'm also going to use the lid from a ricotta cheese container to make the little ridges around the pie, and a Cool Whip lid. That's the perfect dimension for making the pie. And all I do is put this down onto the pie crust, and I will cut around it, and that is going to be your pie crust for the hand pie or the fruit pie. Now, the excess pie dough, you will still use that. You will roll that out to make another circle for another pie. But the first thing you will do is put whatever pie filling that you're using, and do not overfill this pie dough, but you want enough, and you want it to be able to overlap or close without it spilling out. So just be aware of how much of the filling that you're putting into the crust. Now, usually I would put just a little bit of water around the rim of that pie crust just so it would close, but you really don't need to do that with this. But you can either take a fork or use the lid like I'm using, and all I'm doing is going around and pressing it down, and it helps to seal it, but it also gives you the look of the pie crust. Now, continue to do that with the next one that you have. Now with this one, I also show that I put the water around it, but both of them worked fine with and without it, so it's not necessarily necessary to use it. But if you feel like you need to, just put a little bit of water just around the rim, so that way it seals together. You will also need to vent the pie crust, that way it doesn't bust open while it's baking. So just cut 3 little holes into the pastry, and that should help with it not overflowing. Now I put egg wash on top of the pie, and it's just 1 egg and a teaspoon of water. Just mix that up and just spread it on top. Now, I use these little sheets in my air fryer. It just helps keep the air fryer a little cleaner, where I'm not having to wash it every time after I cook something in it like this, and I can just pull that out and it's clean. So you will cook this on 350 for about 8 to 10 minutes. 8 minutes if you want lighter crust, 10 minutes if you want a darker crust. But this is how they look. And I also put a wash of just some powdered sugar and just a little bit of water. So I put a little glaze on top just to give it a little sweetness. And I put that on after it cools just a little bit. If you have coarse sugar, you can put that on top before you bake it. Now this next treat is your basic s'mores, and you just need some graham crackers, some large marshmallows, and some Hershey's milk chocolate. And I line it again, and I put 4 squares of the graham crackers. You just cut those in half, break them in half, and then put your chocolate on top, about 2 pieces per square of graham crackers. And you want to put this in there for 390 for 1 minute. It will melt that chocolate, then just put those marshmallows on top and push it into the chocolate a little bit, Now you will cook it on 390 for 2 minutes. And that's it. And then you just put the other half of the graham cracker on top. And these turned out really good, just like as if you did this outside. Now this next treat is a brookie, which is a brownie and a cookie together. And I'm using this silicone mold for the air fryer. And it's used for either eggs or for muffins. But all you need is some brownie dough and some cookie dough. And that's basically it for this one. And I did wipe just a little bit of cooking oil into the mold just to make sure nothing sticks to it, but not a lot, just very little, just what was on a paper towel. But you will cut both the brownie dough and the cookie dough in half, and you're going to put that into this mold. And I'm doing 7, so I needed 14 pieces total. So just take the brownie dough and the cookie dough and you're going to put them together, and you want to kind of press them as hard as you can without mushing it, but just kind of mold it together the best that you can. And I just kind of play with it a little bit just to get it to stick together. And then once you've done that, you're going to put that into these molds. If you do not have a mold for your air fryer, you can just put these into the air fryer just like this, and they should work just the same. But you just want to continue to do that for the rest. And then once you have them all in the mold, or they're all together, put them into the air fryer, and you will put this on 300 for at least 20 minutes. That's how long it took mine to cook, and you want to make sure that this cools before you actually take them out of the mold. And this is what they should look like when they come out, sort of dry and not mushy. If they are, then you need to put them back in just for a few more minutes till they get to that consistency. But this is a perfect size treat if you're just looking for just a little something sweet to have, and you don't want to eat like a whole muffin or anything like that, or a whole cookie. It's just the right size. Now this last one is really easy. All you need is 1 can of crescent rolls, some powdered sugar, and you only need 8 Oreo cookies, and you can use any flavor Oreo cookies that you like. Now all you're going to do is put 1 Oreo cookie into each crescent roll, and you're just going to form that crescent roll around the Oreo cookie, and you want to make sure that none of the cookie is showing. So just put as much of that dough around it as possible, so that way you don't see any of the cookie coming through. And you just want to smooth it out and just make sure it's covered completely, and make sure you don't have air bubbles. And that's it. And just do that to each of the cookies and make sure it's just completely covered. I put the liner in my air fryer. Then I will put the Oreos on top of that, and I try to space it as much as I can. Then I will put this on 350 for 4 minutes. Once the 4 minutes is up, you will turn over each of the Oreos. And now cook on 350 again for 4 more minutes. And once they're done, just sift some powdered sugar over them. They really turned out great. It's a nice little treat. And that Oreo sort of melts in that crescent roll. It's really a tasty little snack. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell, and that will notify you when I post new videos. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a blessed day.